My name is Peg Heron Heidel. This is Mishka, and we would like to read you the story of Charlie the Mouse and the Gift of Easter. Charlie is a deaf mouse, by the way. Do you know what that means? He can't hear, but that doesn't stop him. So let's get right to his story. You ready? Charlie the Mouse was the happiest he had ever been. Not only did he have food to eat and delicacies galore, but he also now had a friend to share them with. And Queenie, his friend, was a cat, of all things. A cat is his best friend. Queenie were the best of friends and watched the sunset go down every day together while sharing a delicious taffy. What more could he ask for? Life was better than ever. Here's Charlie. Thank you, Mishka. He looks happy, doesn't he? He lives in a bake shop, and he loves that taffy that I just mentioned. Springtime had come to the bakery. When Charlie arose in the morning, he stretched and peeked out the front window, seeing crocuses popping their heads out of the melting snow. Daffodils and tulips decorated the flower beds that lined the sidewalk to the bakery. And, best of all, Charlie discovered the magic of Easter. Here he is. Do you like Easter? It's a beautiful time of year. Baskets of custard eggs and chocolate bunnies lined the window. Marshmallow chicks and strawberry shortcakes lined display cases. And below them were oodles of cookies of every different variety. Even so, Charlie had found he actually preferred being with his best friend than eating. While the taffy was good, he found Queen Snaggletooth. Do you like this name? Queenie is actually short for Queen Snaggletooth. He found Queen Snaggletooth's company to be even better. Taffy just wasn't the same when they weren't together. There's Charlie. And the big chocolate bunny. Do you like that? I bet you do. But one day the baker ran out of taffy. Charlie wondered what Queenie would like out of the treats he had collected. Would she like the chocolate truffle that had been dropped in the corner by a man who had earlier sipped on chocolate? Hot chocolate, sorry. No, cats cannot have chocolate. He didn't want her to get sick. Perhaps the quarter of a sugar cookie he had taken after a little boy had dropped it and gotten another one? No, Queenie wasn't partial to snickerdoodles. At last, Charlie settled on a small egg. Sorry, I don't want Mishka falling off the couch. Forgive me. At last, Charlie settled on a small egg-shaped marshmallow. Surely, Queenie would care for one of those. If you fall off, it's not going to be very happy for everybody. Good boy. Here's Charlie trying to make a decision. Oh, such decisions, All those goodies? However, as it turned out, Queenie didn't like it. Charlie was very confused when she stuck her nose in the air and sauntered into her house, seemingly offended by his offering. Did she only like taffies? She had always been accepting when he couldn't get any. What had he done wrong? Oh, poor Charlie. Here's Queenie. Not looking happy either. Did you see those ears? Uh-oh. Is Charlie in trouble? No. His tail drooped, and he sat dejectedly. Was this the end of their friendship? Oh. It's okay, Mishka. Okay. The next day, when Queenie came out, he brought 2 taffies for her. She smiled, sat, and patted his head affectionately. Charlie sighed in relief as they sat for a few minutes, and then he snuggled into her fur, happy everything was okay again. Queenie looks much happier. Don't you think? I guess she does like taffies. Let's see. Queenie sat thoughtfully for a moment and then stood, gesturing for Charlie to follow her. She had realized that Charlie didn't understand how he had offended her, for Queenie did not celebrate Easter. Queenie and her family celebrated Passover, the Jewish holiday. And that night was the first night of Passover. God bless you. Queenie looks happy. Charlie stared around the kitchen with open curiosity, seeing the dinner Queenie's owner, Mrs. Dinglehopper, was preparing. He saw different foods that he had never seen before. Matzah, meats, and many dishes that he didn't recognize were placed on the table as Mrs. Dinglehopper ushered in guests. Here's the table. Nice holiday table. Mrs. Dinglehopper ushered in her guests, and Charlie wondered at the men, young and old, wearing little hats that looked like discs on their heads, until Queenie explained that they're yarmulkes, a representation of her owner's faith. Why, even Mr. Dinglehopper wore one. Can you see that there? The one right up there, like a dish. And then Charlie listened with wonderment as Mr. Dinglehopper began to tell the story of the first Passover. Charlie was astonished. He had never thought of the religious or cultural meanings food could have. Ouch! Me, not Charlie. He thought of his other mouse friends from the alley and remembered how his mouse friend from the Chinese restaurant celebrated Chinese New Year. Another from a house down the road celebrated El Dia de los Muertos. Am I saying that right? Muertos. I'm not good with Spanish, but you'll see it if you read the book. It's a Mexican holiday. How do you pronounce it?
El Dia de los Muertos.
De los Muertos. She knows Spanish. That's who's filming. Say hi to Maggie Lynn. That's the lady that's filming this. Yes, she has the camera here, but she's sitting over there. Anyway, let's get back to Charlie.
Hola, people.
Thank you for your fine work. Okay, let's get back to the story. Sorry about that. He then reflected, this is Charlie, that in his former house, the Duckworths, how do you like that name? They had always celebrated Easter and Christmas, observing their Christian faith in Christ's birth and rising from the dead. It had never occurred to him that other families could be celebrating different things than he and his former family. The gingerbread houses and Easter sweets meant entirely different things to Queenie's family than they did to his. To him, they were just food. To the others, perhaps they meant something more. Charlie's thinking. Right, Isha? Maybe this was why when he offered a Christmas cookie to his friend Irvin, here we go. The mouse from the Pakistani store down the street, Irvin had been so offended that he never spoke to Charlie again. Maybe Irvin didn't celebrate Christmas. Come to think of it, Charlie remembered Amal from further down the road. He celebrated Kwanzaa instead of Christmas. And then there was Raja, who had celebrated Holi. How do you say that? Holi? Hola. Holi?
I think it's just Holly.
Holly. And then there was Raja, who celebrated Holi during the springtime. She always wore a red bindi in the center of her forehead to show her particular faith from India, where she had been born, before stowing away on a cargo ship to come to America. So many different ways of life, Charlie thought to himself, fascinated by this new revelation. And it was then that he got an idea. You want to see this one again? I think that's so funny, that face. I don't think Charlie thought it was funny, though. Over the next week, Charlie planned a party for all of his friends to enjoy, providing for each of their beliefs so that they could all feast together on Easter. He carefully gathered treats for them to share and invited them all to the party. He even got Irvin to promise to attend after he apologized for his misunderstanding. They made friends. Irvin looks much happier now, doesn't he? Apologies usually help. At last, the day of the party came. Charlie carefully set up a festive cloth napkin he had found. Here we go. He had found it hidden away under one of the tables, and he made a place setting for all of his guests, making sure that each was perfect for their beliefs. Then it was time for the feast to begin. Both Raja and Amal arrived together. Then Maria, the Mexican mouse, and Zing, the Chinese mouse. And then Irvin arrived too. Everyone seemed happy until Queenie arrived, and there was a bit of a stir. There's not just a mouse in the house, there's a cat in the mouse house. How do you like that? The frightened mice scurried and hid under the tablecloth. None of them had expected a cat to arrive, let alone royalty as the guest of honor. But Charlie assured them that Queenie was a friend and that she meant no harm, asking them all to bow to the guest of honor. Queenie purred and touched paws with them all, making peace. And she smiled. And as they all sat and munched at the table, feasting on oodles of goodies, Charlie sat back for a minute. He looked at all of his friends and neighbors and smiled, watching them laughing and snacking together. Irvin was squeaking with Amal, and Queenie was laughing with Maria. What a wonderful sight to see them all happy together. I think I'd like to go to that party too, would you? What a glorious world it would be if we all would accept each other and just be friends, Charlie thought to himself. I agree. I bet you do too. And Charlie thought of the reason he was celebrating Easter and smiled even wider. He was sure that even the Prince of Peace would be happy with the way he was celebrating. He had gathered his friends together with love and happiness to spread the joy, just the way the holiday should be. Charlie gazed around with happiness at what he'd accomplished in bringing everyone together. He realized that while he may be deaf, he didn't need to hear what his guests were saying. Friendship and love come from the heart, not from spoken words. It's not about the food, Charlie thought. It's about love. Even if we are all different, we should love each other in this great big world. I agree with that too. Charlie is a smart mouse. And so Charlie had discovered the true gift of Easter. It was not what's on the table, but what was in his heart. And that was the greatest gift of all. It is. What's in your heart is a beautiful gift. And I hope Charlie's story has made you smile and give the person that is reading this to you, I can't do that. The person that's reading it to you, I just said like.
You can't edit it.
Because truly, Charlie, being the smart mouse that he is, even though he can't hear, he can watch everybody's expressions and see how they're acting and getting along, and he knows that everybody should get along and think about other people's ideas, not just their own. And Charlie sat back, I'm sure, very, very satisfied that he had brought his friends together. Imagine little mice getting along with a great big cat. And it was all because they thought of each other as friends and respected. Do you know what that means? It means that you don't stick your tongue out at somebody and say, I don't agree with you, I know more. You don't do that. You listen to what they have to say, and you say, if you want to think that, I don't have to agree, but I still love you, or I'll still be your friend, and we'll get along. That's what makes peace in this world, and that's what we need, for each other to be patient and believe in our hearts and in each other's. Now, for the person that has showed you this video, I want you to give them a big hug and thank them very much. We have other Charlie stories to enjoy too, and there'll be more videos coming. Thank you for watching. I love you. A great big hug from me and Mishka. Oops, Mishka. Sit up. Can you wave? I guess not. Maybe I put him to sleep. I shouldn't be doing this and just let him sleep. Okay? Take care, everybody. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.